This is a real comment I received from a viewer.
What about Thomas Sowell's point that divorce rates and single mothers were lower in the black community than the white population prior to the Civil Rights Act?
Thomas Sowell is a controversial economist and opponent of minimum wage policies in the U.S. Sowell is a darling of the billionaire classes and Republican Party. First, I have to acknowledge that this question is highly offensive. Sowell has often equated the era before the Civil Rights Movement and the passing of the Civil Rights Act in the U.S. as being somehow better for women and Black Americans. The question is also profoundly historically ignorant. Women who were unmarried were only allowed to own property starting in 1974 in the U.S. Canadian women got this same right in 1974 as well. Before then, it was technically legal for financial institutions to refuse loans to unmarried women or to require them to have a male cosigner. Until 1974, women didn't have the right to open their own credit card account in Canada and the U.S. The Fair Housing Act of 1968 finally prohibited discrimination in the sale, rental, or financing of housing. It was then amended in 1974 to add sex to the list of prohibited grounds of discrimination. Before single women with children were regularly refused the opportunity to rent or own homes without a male cosigner. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act prohibits discrimination in the granting of credit on the basis of sex or marital status. Now, isn't it weird that as soon as women could be assured of not being homeless, penniless, and destitute upon leaving their husbands, they left those unhappy marriages? Did you know that Black students were only admitted to American universities in the late 1950s and 1960s, following the landmark Brown v. Board of Education Supreme Court ruling in 1954? I have noticed that some recent commenters to the channel do seem egregiously misinformed about a significant number of things. They are wittingly or unwittingly spreading misinformation and disinformation. I'd ask these folks if they were asleep in history class, but I guess Republicans and conservatives have banned learning such histories in school. Do you have a question or need a fact checked? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for listening.